here we go.
Don't know how far back we're going, but here we are.
No, not that far back, just...
The main thing is, Adam, that Ian really hates it when you talk over the theme tune.
Doesn't mean I've got a...
And welcome to the Miles Offside podcast, where we talk a little bit of football and a whole lot of nothing. My name is Chuck Bailey, and if you were wondering, yes, this intro has taken longer than it took for Arsenal to concede against Bournemouth. With me, as always, at the moment, temporarily, is Mr. Adam P. and super producer Ian Stimpson. Gentlemen, how are we?
I'm temporarily great.
but always fantastic.
Yeah. Well, let's face it, we're all here temporarily, in a way. Not in a way, in the way that matters. Woo,
wow,
Monday.
that got existential quick.
Yeah, it's Monday. Dating it already.
Fine.
Brentford Fulham are about to play.
Yeah,
ish.
I'm fine with all of that. Just don't say it was yesterday, but yeah.
Well, it wasn't yesterday because it's...
No, I'm just... Oh, my God.
Yesterday was Sunday, Ian. Do you not remember?
What are they going to put on my death certificate? He had an aneurysm because people couldn't work out a simple thing about dates. I hate everyone, and you two especially.
I mean, it's heart disease, but...
I was going to go with gout, but... You know.
Yeah, no. Gout's the gateway drug to the deterioration of Ian Stimpson.
You know what? I used to see gout as like a
challenge.
Aspiration?
Aspiration, exactly. A challenge, yeah. A challenge to be...
a bigger man, literally.
Yeah, I want to be a bigger man. No, but like, I thought, gout, that's when you know you're living right. Then Matt Ford, I think it was, that comedian that I like but Chuck doesn't. And
because he's a wanker.
And he got gout. It sounds awful, guys. It sounds really bad. I don't think I want it anymore.
Who knew?
But yeah.
Turns out the doctors are right.
Well, it's, you know, in this world of questioning everything, I think it's right that we go, is gout bad? Turns out it is. But
phone in, listeners. For today's poll, is gout bad? Also, what is the best condiment? We haven't recorded in ages, which means there's lots of football to talk about, which means there's going to be a real dereliction of duty here when we don't talk about all the football. I guess we can start. I mean, Adam, I've already mentioned it. Arsenal did a win, I guess. The mark of true champions, coming back from behind against 20th place Bournemouth. Arsenal 3, Bournemouth 2. Arsenal generating 2.6 XG to Bournemouth's 1.3. Would it be fair to say your feelings at full time were relief mixed with elation?
I mean, I think if I ever do have a heart attack, I'll sort of have a little bit of an inside snippet into what it was like, because yeah, obviously I wasn't watching the game. I was out supporting my local team. But when supporting my local team, and I saw that Arsenal had conceded after 9 seconds, I think, the second fastest goal in Premier League history.
Yeah, 9.11 seconds.
I think it's fair to say my mood wasn't great at that stage. And then you kind of think, oh, well, at least if you're going to concede, getting it out the way, I guess, as soon as possible.
What a strange way to think about it.
Is the best time to do it. Yeah, so we conceded as early as basically is possible to concede. You would think then that gives us plenty of time to come back. We sort of forgot to do that for a lot of the game. Conceded again, didn't really help my mood further.
But if you're going to concede a second time, it's a good time to do it.
You're going to concede, and remember, 2-0 is a dangerous scoreline.
Exactly. So, in many ways, we lulled them into a false sense of security excellently.
Yeah.
They thought the last time we expect Arsenal to score is in the 96th minute. What did we do? That is exactly when we scored.
So really, Alan, when you were supporting your local team and you saw the notification coming for that second goal, what you were really thinking is, the trap is baited. Here we go. Yeah, no, good stuff.
The game is afoot.
Indeed. So does it annoy you slightly, because this game was very fun in the last half an hour with Arsenal just peppering Bournemouth with the sort of attack that Arsenal were not known for in the past. But you persevered, you got there. Well done. It was Bournemouth. But are you upset that then a 7-0 has taken you off of all of the headlines? Because
we'll get to that. Hey, come on. Let's keep the powder dry here.
No, I want him to be annoyed. I want him to be annoyed that another result has taken Arsenal.
No.
Arsenal won in a kind of amazing climactic fashion, and Man United got absolutely spanked. In what way am I going to be annoyed?
Nothing can spoil your mood.
No, this is perfect. This is perfect.
Good stuff.
But yeah, no, the game, I think it was interesting, and like you sort of alluded to earlier, Ian and Chuck, we both said previously, these sorts of results are often hailed as like the mark of champions, which, I mean, I guess having the kind of fortitude to come back from 2-0 down is great and all. It is a little bit worrying how it's now Bournemouth and Aston Villa, who Arsenal have been in those kind of positions from which they have to recover. It's not great. Obviously, having that kind of the bounce back ability is really encouraging, and it shows the kind of brittle Arsenal of old might not be about anymore. But I do think the defence being leaky once the kind of the aftermath and the glorious kind of feeling from the game subsides, I think there will be a little bit of concern about that.
I see what you're saying, because obviously you've had trouble against lower in the table teams than you this year, but this seems like the year to do it, because so have Man City. Man City have struggled against teams that they should be blowing away. I mean, obviously they won the early game this weekend, and immediately put the pressure on as you would expect. But this feels like a season where you can slip up the odd time, but your slipping up is conceding, but then you're getting back in there and you're dispatching these teams eventually. Now, and I do use eventually pointedly, because it was very, very late. But I think the never give up thing that Arsenal seem to have at the minute, we've talked about it before, that the only thing that might let you down is squad depth. But then, you've got players like Nelson, who we haven't seen much of this season. He played early on, didn't he? I can't remember what game it was now.
Nottingham Forest. He came on as a substitute again for Saka, who got injured.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
didn't he score the winning goal in that game? Yeah. Oh, 2 goals.
He scored. I think he got 2 in a 5-0 win. Yeah.
And everyone was talking about him, and then he sort of seems to have gone away a little bit. But then maybe all you need is a player like him who's going to be hungry, and you stick him on and job done. I don't know. 538's got it as a practical coin flip at the minute, something like 54. 54-45. But you'd have taken that early on in the season, and I don't know. Something just feels right about Arsenal, and it's I'm all for it.
I do get that, because I think it's not just the comebacks, like you say. There's been a bit of narrative about each of them. With the Aston Villa game, it was the Emi Martinez own goal. Obviously, he used to play for Arsenal. Unai Emery used to manage Arsenal. And then with this kind of Reece Nelson little subplot, him assisting and then scoring the winner right at the death. He's been a really, really highly rated academy prospect at Arsenal for ages. He was in the same England generation as Jadon Sancho, and of the two, he was the one that was kind of talked of more highly. And there was always so much expected of him. And just through one thing or another, whether it be injuries or there's been a little bit of talk that his head wasn't quite right previously, it just never really seemed to happen for him. And he's actually out of contract at the end of the season. There wasn't really a huge amount of certainty over whether or not he was gonna be renewed or be allowed to kind of leave on a free. And now it sort of feels like he's had this moment that, if touch all kinds of wood, Arsenal do go on to win the title, that's the kind of moment that will be, it sounds really cheesy, but it will be remembered in the kind of history books, and he'll have his place in kind of in the club's history, which I think is is really, really special for an academy kid.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think the lazy narrative of it all will be, this is the market champions, the 2-0 down to 3-2, whatever.
I was really enjoying that narrative.
No, and I'm surprised Celebration Police over there didn't complain because they were happy about beating.
No, I'm not going to complain about that one. I mean, it is sort of vaguely funny that Bournemouth went 2-0 up, but no,
I'm sure a certain gibbon-mitted carbuncle on the backside of humanity in the Middle East probably wasn't too happy about it.
I think even he was all right with that one, actually. I think even he let that one go.
Subhuman scum. And it is the fact that all of these players are just coming on as subs and doing well, coming out of nowhere. Arsenal are having, Gabriel Jesus isn't injured. We don't see Reece Nelson this season, right? That's just it. Eddie Nketiah doesn't get the chances he had. Martinelli, who everyone recently, I say everyone, a lot of FPL Twitter, I guess, just because you guys have been talking about it, have been like getting rid of Martinelli from their teams. Well, Martinelli is the top scorer in the league for the season now for Arsenal, and it's just a constant phase of you're not relying on one player. My only kind of concern is that Arsenal are having to turn in all of these like exceptional performances and coming from behind and everything, and Man City are like by their standards really shit, and they're just still there.
That's true.
Like it's just like we're talking about this like, yes, Arsenal are 5 points ahead, but you look at the City game, and for anyone that watched it, because they hadn't yet gone out to support their local team, because this was the early kickoff of the day, and our teams are so local, we can leave after the 12:30 kickoff and get to the grounds 3 o'clock. Guys, we're so sustainably local.
Just love the grassroots.
Yep. Man City 2, Newcastle 0, Man City generating 1.3 to Newcastle's 0.4. And I think the main kind of thing that I noticed in this game is Kevin De Bruyne putting in an absolute fucking stinker, just looking awful. Getting brought off for Bernardo Silva and that kind of being a big difference later in the game where after Foden had scored a beautiful individual goal early on. And I mean, all the chaos of City, do you think they're just stuck in this malaise for a while, or are they actually going to get back to their greatness?
It's a difficult one because, like you say, it does feel like too early on in the kind of grand scheme of the season for Arsenal to be relying on these kind of emotional last-minute winners. Yeah. Whereas City, like you say, being able to take off Kevin De Bruyne, who looks far from himself, bringing on Bernardo Silva, who then goes and scores 2 minutes later. Mm-hmm. And even though I think Newcastle applied pressure at times and showed they kind of threatened City a little bit, I think once City went 2-0 up with 23 minutes to go, I don't really think anyone was too worried that they were going to throw it away, that they were even going to concede a goal. Now, that might be as much to do with Newcastle's struggles and dip in form recently, but yeah, City do have that every time they win a game in a routine manner. I go, oh God, no, here they go. They're back. Here comes the Terminator, and get really, really worried. You just never know when that switch could flick. Whereas Arsenal, even though I suppose the 4-0 win midweek against Everton was slightly more routine, much more routine. That of late appears to be the exception rather than the rule, which is a little bit worrying.
Yeah, they've got a week now as well. They haven't got any Champions League, so an actual rest. Pep said the main thing he wants is 2 days off where no one has to see him.
I don't want to see them. They don't want to see me.
They don't want to see me. They've had enough, which will be great because they'll be really relaxed and rested for their game against Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
Fuck my life. Before they then have Leipzig in the week after. Obviously, we're in the first week of European fixtures again this week, with some next week as well. Sorry, Ian. I guess I don't even know anymore.
And sorry, just on that, worth noting that Arsenal's European fixtures start up again soon. Yes. We play Sporting Lisbon, so.
Yeah, just Sporting. No, Lisbon. It's fine.
Oh, okay. Well, that European cycle is starting as well. So yeah.
Sorry to be Euro pedantic there. Sporting Club de Portugal. There's no Lisbon in it. So, yeah, and Newcastle kind of really struggled in a way that we maybe haven't seen, although, so many draws recently. Not that anyone really minds, because I don't think anyone likes Newcastle.
I think everyone seems to be over this thing of, Newcastle mixing it up is fun. Like, I think we're all like over that now, aren't we? We're just
because they're all evil.
We were never really.
I was never under it.
No. Way before, like in the before times, in the Mike Ashley times.
Yes.
Like I was fine because they were clearly a city that were incredibly passionate about football. They would sell out the St James's Park every fucking week, even when Steve Bruce was their manager. And then a public investment fund that is not the Saudi government, but is the Saudi government, but isn't the Saudi government, depending on which side of the Atlantic you go. It has kind of tainted things a bit, especially certain fans that still decide to dress up with Saudi flags and all of that kind of celebration. Yay. But, I mean, fair to say, after, they had their day in London, where they got to wave their flags, that was good. And safe to say, after you drink that much Carabao, you're going to have a crash, and not being able to score goals.
But that's the thing. It's not just a post Carabao crash that we all know so well. If anyone had ever drunk it,
I've drunk it.
Yeah, you have, haven't you? Actually, yeah.
It is potent.
Is it?
Yeah, it's really powerful.
Yeah.
It's not for the faint-hearted, the weak-hearted, pregnant women, those with back concerns, sufferers of epilepsy.
Okay.
Do not operate heavy machinery after drinking Carabao.
Okay, but this Newcastle thing, the problem is that their profligacy, is that a word, in front of goal,
wastefulness
has coincided with also starting to let in goals, which they weren't doing. So it's both. Both things have happened at the same time, where they can't sneak a win anymore because they are seemingly letting in goals as well. And it does feel like the hype train just might have derailed slightly. So. I mean, if you look at 538 now, Newcastle are 25% to qualify for Champions League football, and Liverpool have gone up to 43%, which is insane based on what we were looking at before. But yeah, Newcastle might be now looking at the trajectory that we thought was more likely at the start of the season, which is, maybe pushing for the lower European places,
Yeah, they were by their own admission, they were miles ahead of where they planned to be that quickly, considering they said, we haven't really spent much money. Really? Alexander
quite a bit.
Bruno Guimaraes. They spent about 250 million in 2 seasons.
It's fair old whack,
2 windows. Hefty chunk of change. So, yeah, well, what am I saying? I don't care. People complain, and rightly say about Palace, and they get in the news a lot now for not winning this year. Newcastle have only won once since Boxing Day. So 1 win on Boxing Day, 1 win mid-January.
I do love a calendar year stat. I do love that.
A calendar year, yeah. I always wonder when to start it, though. But typically...
January, traditionally.
When the calendar does.
Well, no, like if they played on New Year's Day, like does it count? When do you say that? If you have to put too many qualifiers
New Year's Eve
on it,
games.
It's like it's like they say about Palace. We haven't won in 2023. Yeah, but we won on New Year's Eve, so it's like
which is in 2022, famously.
You're changing. Well, no,
it's 28 until he's 29.
It's in every year, Adam. New Year's Eve is in every year until the end of days, but. It's like if you just move the dial on your stat range by like a day, does it change things? Are you just picking and choosing to suit your narrative? Anything to not talk about Palace being really bad for now. First, I need to laugh at something. But before that, we actually had a question. And for once, for about the first time in a year and a half, I'm actually going to answer it on this podcast.
Oh, good.
Because, we always used to ask for questions and then never used to do anything with them. Wonder why that well dried up, and it comes from Andy Penpraise. He's from Sutton, and Domingo from Little Oakley. And Andy has said, can you tighten the definition of a Burnleying for me? Is it A, grossly overperforming your XG, or B, winning or drawing a game where the XG suggests you really shouldn't have? And this is a good point, Andy, because, I mean, I'm quite a subjective person. But the actual answer, the correct answer is that when you have the XG for a game, it is teams, like you said in your second point there, that have overperformed their XG to the point where they've gained a result that they did not deserve. Okay, so the perfect example of that would kind of be this week. The right place to award Burnley of the Week would probably be to Wolverhampton, as they generated 0.4 XG to Tottenham's 1.3 and yet won 1-0. However...
I was hovering over the button. I was like, does he want me to press it? I don't know.
In the quest to be as arbitrarily funny as I wish, I'm going to give it here. So cue the jingle.
Yes.
Oh, they're better than they ought to be.
Burnley of the Week. That's right. Liverpool 7.
Wow.
SEVEN. Manchester United 0. NIL. Liverpool generating 2.8 XG to Manchester United 0.8. And I don't care that they outperformed on XG. What the flying fuck happened to make this happen? Eric Forhag is back.
Hey!
We're back on it now. This is it. I put him up to 10. Ridiculous. One of the most ridiculous games against the ridiculous team that has been in bad form, even though they've kept like 4 clean sheets out of the last 5. Like, what is this? Speaking of Carabao Cup come downs, like, this is a fucking absolute energy drink crash.
This was a cup final hangover writ large, wasn't it? I mean,
Hugely.
It was bizarre because the first half was relatively even, despite what Gary Neville would like us all to believe. But
Famously unbiased Gary Neville.
he just gets very emotionally involved, doesn't he? But honestly, what the fuck happened in the second half? It was like obviously Liverpool scored early on, and it was just like, oh right, throw your hands up and just go, well, fuck it then. Luke Shaw just like opening doors for Liverpool attackers and patting their arse as they went through. You know, off your pop, mate. It was unbelievable. It was such a bad performance from Shaw and Fernandes and. I mean, all of them,
Don't
really.
I was
I was going to say, don't
shit.
stop there.
Well,
they were all terrible.
David De Gea, Lisandro Martinez, Bruno Fernandes, Marcus Rashford, even, Fred, Casemiro, Rafael Varane, Diogo Dalot, Anthony, Luke Shaw, Falk Weghorst, Tyrell Malacia, Marcel Sabitzer, Anthony Elanga, Scott McTominay, and Alejandro Garnacho. Hang your fucking heads in shame. But I will say this, Eric Ten Hag deserves what he fucking gets because you bring Aaron Wan-Bissaka in, he proves once again that he's the best fucking fullback in Europe, and then you just start dropping him again. Fuck you, you big bald fuck.
Wow. I didn't think that was where we were going to go with this.
Yeah. Oh, everything's personal. I hate Manchester United. I don't particularly like Liverpool, but this is really funny because they just... the collapse was unbelievable. And I don't even necessarily think... Like, Liverpool were good, but they didn't have to be that good.
Oh, yeah. I think you're right. This was I genuinely think the story here is more... Because, obviously, I don't want to just make it out like we're saying this about Liverpool because we obviously said a couple of weeks ago about there being a false dawn and that. But you're absolutely right.
Yeah, I mean, we said that, and then they got battered 5-2 by Real Madrid, and then drew 0-0 to Palace.
Liverpool did not have to be good here. It's just that Man United are so far from Real Madrid that it's unbelievable. So, like that. Imagine if Real Madrid had reacted like this to a few goals going against them. I mean, it was unbelievable, the capitulation, and I think Ten Hag was right, to be fair, in his post-match. He didn't hide away. He just said unprofessional, the lot of them, and that's what it was. Bruno Fernandes was absolutely ridiculous, and
a joke.
We all sort of can say, you know, well, little bit of play acting and things like that in the game these days. That's how you win fouls and stuff like that. The stuff he did was absolutely ridiculous. Pushing a linesman as well. What the fuck did he have to do to get a yellow card? I mean, not even a fucking red. Like, you know, just to get booked, and it was ridiculous. He could have got booked a few times. It was mental. So could Shaw. Yeah, the whole thing was ridiculous. The amount of space they gave Liverpool. You're absolutely right, Chuck. Liverpool did not have to be good to win 7-0 against Man United. I mean, what an insane sentence to say. That Liverpool did not have to be absolutely on it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to be fair, the change in the front three of having Gakpo as the more central player seemed interesting and seemed to do things. I mean, it was quite funny. I thought that was it Robertson had to basically point to him where to run on the first, you're like, in there, mate, fucking hell. And then as soon as he did it, fucking beautiful goal. You know, it was great. But they didn't have to be top of their game to smash this team 7-0 purely in the second half. I don't know what happened. I
think Ten Hag has gotten a lot more praise over the last couple of weeks, and fairly so in most respects.
Yeah.
But you have to criticise the formation in this one, putting Rashford in the middle where he has never really, or it certainly hasn't looked his best. He's looked far more effective out on the left. And you would think, logically, if someone like me can think putting Marcus Rashford against Trent Alexander-Arnold probably might be a good idea, given how much space he's likely to find.
Why would you give a pacey winger the opportunity to go up against someone with the spatial awareness of I don't even have a funny thing to say because it's so fucking stupid. Play Rashford against Trent Alexander-Arnold. Don't put what is a Weghorst? What is a fucking Weghorst?
But you saw the
what is a Weghorst? Why is he there? Look at this is ridiculous. We forgot how banter Manchester United are, just an absolute fucking shit show of so much money, but still just being like, because Marcus Rashford pivoted from feeding kids to feeding Man United owners' pockets.
But I'm just sort of wrestling us back to a serious point.
No, because this is the serious point, Adam, because now kids in Manchester can eat. Because
that's
Man
true.
United haven't scored.
That's true.
Maybe he just needs to have one off game every month or so to kind of stock food supplies of the city up. So maybe once a month trade a 7-0 for well-fed children. I don't know. It seems worth it to me.
No, it's just an idea. Part of the government white paper. Review into the Premier League clubs. Yeah.
But no, back to the kind of point about Rashford not being out wide and not having as much space. You saw how well Liverpool were able to exploit space on their left-hand side. I don't know what Anthony was doing. I mean, I'm not really convinced by him in
nothing. He was
general.
Doing
nothing. Exactly. He was doing nothing. He wasn't tracking back at all. And he was exposing Dalot, who is not a particularly strong defensive fullback.
He is not to be exposed.
No, exactly.
If only you had a really good 1v1 fullback just sat there right on the fucking bench.
If only. But yeah, it allowed Robertson to have I think it's probably his best game I've certainly seen of him this season. Yeah. I thought he was really, really good. And yeah, like you say, when it got to 4-0, I just sort of threw my hands up in the air and was like, I've got no idea what is happening here. The game just went very weird. And as an Arsenal fan, I've been a victim of these weird hammerings before. Obviously, like Chelsea beat Arsenal 6-0 on Wenger's 1000th game. Arsenal obviously lost 8-2 at Old Trafford. And it gets to a point where you just kind of stop watching the football and you're just staring at a screen and people are running around. And even I got like that as kind of a supposedly neutral observer. I found it hilarious, to be honest. But yeah, no, mental. Man United, turns out they're not the best team in the world. Who knew?
I love the way that everyone was throwing around afterwards. Reality check. Oh, this has been a reality check. And it's
I think the last 10 years have been a reality check.
I was sort of like, no one seriously worth their salt was like, Man United are back, and it is like not, they're going to be dominating. I mean, if anyone was saying that, Robbie Savage, if anyone was saying that, then they're a fucking moron. And I'm not saying that they weren't Savage in the ascendancy. I'm not saying they weren't in the ascendancy, but it's that sort of, and this is the thing that's happening with Liverpool at the minute. You're now hearing, aside from the reality check for Man United, you're hearing Liverpool are back. Now, Liverpool with Van Dijk and Konate as the centre-back pairing, that might help a lot. Let's face it, that might help a lot. But let's chill out with Liverpool are back. We should never have been, and I'm not saying we were, but we should never have been going, Man United are fucking, going to storm Europe again. Let's just chill the fuck out with these things. Everything takes time. And it's mad that, like, it takes something like this for everyone to go, oh, maybe Man United has still got a few issues. Yeah, okay, fine. It shouldn't take a Liverpool 7-0 to make everyone go, okay, they're not quite back yet. Let's just all chill out.
Exactly, and you can tell that there are still issues that need to be worked out, but people seem to think that form is permanent, which I think is kind of what United have shown, or the United recent run has kind of been a perfect example of that, because even before the game, I think it was Graham Souness suggested that he thought Liverpool might win.
Yeah,
and Gary Neville and Roy Keane were just kind of smirking in the background.
Brilliant.
And it's like, I don't think suggesting Liverpool would beat United at Anfield is ludicrous. I mean, I didn't expect it to happen, but it's
like a no-lose thing. If United did win, he could just go, yeah, well, I just thought they would win. And then they do this. It doesn't... No one predicted
what
this.
Adam's saying is that Keane and Neville shouldn't be like, you fucking idiot, Souness.
Yeah.
Of course they should, because they're fucking biased. They're ridiculous bias.
Are they biased?
I think Gary Neville is.
Yeah, no. I was being very facetious. Keane was like essentially just laughing at the end because it got to that point, as you say, Adam, when you're watching it and you start to almost glaze over and go, well, this is just something mental that's happening. I think Keane got there, where he was just like, well, this is just funny now, so fine. Whereas Gary Neville had a mental breakdown.
I was going to say, can we talk about the best bit of the game, which was Gary Neville telling Jamie Carragher to do one live on Sky Sports?
Did he?
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, he gets very involved. I mean, like, obviously he's biased as a pundit, but what I do like about Gary Neville, and I did work on Monday Night Football for quite a while. And
here we go.
But like, honestly, I was sort of like, when he first got announced, I was like, oh bloody hell, we're going to have a massively biased pundit come in, and it's not going to be great. He was so harsh on Man United all the time that I actually quite enjoyed it.
It's quite easy to be. They were really shit.
Yeah, but instead of, I don't know, instead of being harsh on Man United now, he just seems to take everything so personally. He's just like, you're destroying my fucking legacy here.
I mean, that's what happens when you own a hotel that overlooks a thing. You kind of need the club to be doing well.
True, yeah.
It starts to affect your pocket. You're like,
I don't know if whatever it is, hotel football is publicly listed,
football.
but yeah. It's probably seeing the share price dive, but yeah, it was funny that all the punditry was funny. Jamie Carragher being heard just laughing his tits off, like while he's supposedly commentating on a game, just pops his mic on the table, but laughs so loud you can still hear him. It was quite something. It felt like event football, didn't it?
Mm. Yeah, and I think it does kind of make the top four race now certainly much more interesting than it was looking a month or so ago. Like Liverpool, 25 games played, 42 points. Spurs, 26 games played, 45 points. And I don't know if you want to drag United in it at 25 games played and 49 points. It's much closer.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I'd completely written Liverpool off for top four. But it is, I mean, we had this a couple of seasons ago, didn't we, Chuck, when we were always talking about just I think you had a term for it, and I can't remember what it was, but just the blob of mid-table shit that was just like...
amorphous blob of...
Yeah.
Or,
something like that.
I don't know. Load of shit. Yeah.
Where they just, no one wanted to take the reins, and that seems to have been the situation, because Tottenham, Brighton, Newcastle, they've all had an opportunity to really stake their claim over that fourth spot. And Liverpool have just been quietly, the last couple of games, notching a few points. And so it is wide open now. It is wide open. And Man United are 74%. So it's not beyond the realms of possibility that they could drop out of the top four. Whereas they were 4% for the title a couple of weeks ago. This is obviously 538, so it's all bloody statistical
That's
simulations and everything. But it's not beyond the realms of possibility they could drop out of the top 4. But that's just because it's just funny.
They've got Europa League as well, so they'll be going for that now, didn't they? Because they knocked Barcelona out.
But you were right, Chuck. They've got so many games. And they've not got a second 11. And their first 11 did this. It's just like, it's a little worrying for Man U fans, I imagine.
Yeah, I think so. That fixture congestion going to get you in a big way. They've got midweek this week and next week, I think, because they played in the playoff game for the Europa, which meant that they played when the first Champions League games were happening. So now they've got another 2, plus they've got FA Cup. They just had Carabao. They got this. It's absolute nonsense.
More games is just better. Everyone knows that.
More football is better. Speaking of, better. Chelsea won.
They did.
Yay! It's not just Palace they've beaten this year. Hooray! Chelsea.
Is that a win?
It's not as much of a.
It's the one you'll take, yeah.
It's anything, mate. I'm clutching at fucking straws here. Chelsea won. Dirty Leeds 0. Chelsea generating 1.5 to Leeds is 1.0. I think it's just happened in spite of Chelsea as opposed to by Chelsea, who are, we'll get to the Graham Potter, I guess, of it again in a minute. But here's a little something.
Football.
Here's a what?
Graham Potter said if he mentioned Hawaii football, which I'm not quite sure what that means.
That would only work if they won 5-0.
I was going to say...
Yes! Absolutely.
Here is Oscar P.
Oh.
Not that one.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Oscar here, checking in from Chelsea Island. It's crazy to me how much this just feels like preseason vibes. Like,
coping mechanisms are in.
The pitch half the time. Everybody's getting put in all sorts of different positions and shuffled around, especially with the 5 subs. There's always people coming on and off. I don't know.
They do that.
They're just throwing spaghetti at the wall, see what sticks.
That is how subs work.
Throw
spaghetti at the wall, see what sticks.
Nothing particularly matters either, except the Champions League. I hope they win.
They won't.
More importantly, 14 days as of today. And that's not even the day that you guys are recording today, so really way off of today, Ian. Bye.
I'm not going to America anymore. Fuck it.
So Chelsea they still exist, I guess. It's what they should be happy about. The fans are absolutely livid. Especially with Potter deciding to approach any of this with even a vague sense of humour, saying, coming into press conference and saying, "Sorry, I'm late. I've just been in crisis talks," and stuff like that, which I love.
I like that.
Yeah, fuck it, What do Chelsea have to play for anything? They are less than 1% to be relegated. They are less than 1% to win to qualify for Champions League. Sorry, probably are less than 1% to win the Champions League as well. They're already down a goal ? In the Champions League, which means to progress to the next round, they are 35% to Dortmund.
It's quite high, actually.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'd have given them that much. But...
What does Hawaii football mean?
I don't know, but Potter is in, I think today, or this match, kind of summarised how difficult a position Potter is in, because what he'd been trying previously was trying out sort of different tactical formations and putting players, like Oscar was saying, in different positions to get a sense of things. He wasn't getting the results, and the fans were angry. And so it felt like this week... it felt like he put a little bit more kind of logic into his formation. Like, I know Ruben Loftus-Cheek isn't necessarily a right wing back by trade, but he has played there under Tuchel before. They go a goal up. He makes some kind of relatively conservative substitutions to sort of help see out the game, and the fans are angry at that as well. It's like... I don't really understand. I just don't think he can win.
Talk like a Chelsea manager.
What does that even mean?
I know. It's so...
He doesn't talk like a twat, basically.
That's the one, yeah.
But they kept saying they want their club back. They've got their club back. This is Chelsea before the money. This is Matthew Harding's Chelsea.
Yeah.
Don't bring back Dennis
Oh,
Wise.
okay, good. No,
Keep him in the Middle East. away from us.
Is that where he is? Lovely. Good.
Prick. I don't know. He's mates with Keys and Gray, isn't he? So.
Oh, is he? God.
And the terrible Newcastle owner that I met, Mike Ashley. Yeah, he's just like a shill for Mike Ashley, isn't he? Yeah.
What terrible night out. That would
Yeah.
be.
Oh, gee, well, for the fireplace.
Yeah.
Sure.
Absolutely decimated.
Completely forgot watching this the highlights to this game that Javi Gracia as Leeds manager. I was like, why the fuck's the Watford guy there?
What the fuck's this guy doing here?
Who is this guy? I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, either they're not going to be in the league, but he's not going to be there very long. I mean,
yeah. Well, Leeds continue to be really poor, and it's a. Well, if you're losing to Chelsea 1-0, you must be poor. It's a worry for Leeds fans, isn't it? Because they're getting dragged into this the bottom amorphous blob of shit that is sadly includes.
Oh, it's
Palace.
the bog of eternal stench.
Yeah, okay, good. Bog of eternal stench, lovely. We'll have that.
Yep.
Which is everyone below Villa, and that includes Palace, I'm afraid. But I mean, Leeds are right in another relegation scrap with a new manager where things don't seem to be clicking at the minute. I've just looked up what Hawaii football is. So Potter said after the match, if the game becomes Hawaii football up and down, then it can be a challenge. The Athletic have gone into it and said, football journalist Tom Williams wrote a book, Do You Speak Football? And the term is listed as a Norwegian word, Hawaii football, to mean chaotic, disorganised football. So it doesn't actually...
Doesn't really ring true for me because I don't associate chaos and disorder with the islands of Hawaii.
Well, no, but that's it. I think it comes from a Norwegian word rather than the island of Hawaii.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, there you go.
Maybe Sam can tell us what that means or something. I guess, I haven't spoken about them for a few weeks, but I guess we can mention Palace being shit again for a bit.
Do you want to? Yeah.
Aston Villa 1, Crystal Palace 0. XG was involved, but Aston Villa didn't need it because we decided to kick it into our own net. I don't really have anything to say other than 9 games ago I said we'd be in the relegation zone by April and that we wouldn't get a point, but we got 4, and we haven't won a game in 2023, although we won on New Year's Eve, Adam, but I know the time. And yet we're still in 12th. So how shit do all the other teams have to fucking be that we've done all of that and we're sleepwalking, quote unquote, to relegation, which I guess in a way we are, but we still got games to play. But it's just turgid. It's just crap. It's not attacking, playing all 4 players up front out of position in order to accommodate Jordan Ayew. Brilliant. Sometimes I think Vieira just hates himself a bit.
It's what Hodgson would have wanted.
Yeah, you can kill the man, but not the idea, right? Hodgson's still alive at time of recording.
Oh, God.
And an Aston Villa team that in their last 2 home games had conceded 4 goals to Arsenal and Leicester. You'd think we'd at least try and have a shot on target. Nope, that is our 4th game of the season now without a shot on target. Maybe play a striker.
You did have a goal ruled out, though. It was offside, but still.
Very early, very close offside, whatever offside's offside. But the kind of weird thing with that is you look at the type of pattern of play that we did to do that, and then you have success with it, and then never try it again in the whole game.
Why would you?
Previously in the season. So I just don't really care. One thing that has been good, maybe Adam, you'll enjoy hearing this, that Lukonga's been getting rave reviews since he's come in. I think being able to play in a midfield where he's got something different asked of him that maybe he was at Arsenal, not playing as the deepest holding midfielder, but slightly further on as an 8. His passing has been really, really good, and that's kind of something we've been missing in the park, to kind of get that very... Well, what we should probably have is the very crude form of, having one person in there who wins the ball, one who can carry the ball and one who can pass, and having Doucouré when he's not suspended and Eze in there are your kind of winners and carriers, and Lukonga being the passer there, should bear fruit eventually. But
you are quite lucky, I think, that there are 6 teams at the minute that I can name that feel worse than you. But that's
it's still close margins.
It is.
I try and tell myself and try and see the positives, and there are we still are getting points out of those games. You look, we got a point against Liverpool, which, to be honest, I still genuinely think is a bit of a disappointing result. A point against Man United, nearly got another point against them. One against Newcastle, one against Brighton, one against Brentford. Although Brentford, we was last 15 seconds conceding to draw there, which is something that was a massive pattern of play last season that we kind of stomped out. So there's some progression there in some ways, but it's just. I don't understand the type of football we're playing. And so I think some of it's on Vieira, the team selections and the way they're playing. But then also I think the board and ownership have kind of failed us with kind of neglecting, say, for example, reinforcements at fullback, which in the modern game of football has become one of the most important parts. And, only finally bringing in some midfielders now in January, halfway through a season. And it's not great. But we live in hope. I mean, our next 3 games are Man City, Brighton, and Arsenal.
Yeah, we always beat City.
We didn't this year. We didn't concede a goal to them last year. That was different, Adam. It was 2 clean sheets, 4 points. Just saying, no one else kept 2 clean sheets against City this last year. That's fine.
Real quiz. Ting.
Last calendar year, or
yeah, fuck off. You're lucky I give you so long to talk about Arsenal. But yeah, so I'm worried in that way. I mean, what's the 538 predictions? I mean, if I go months back, we were on 8%. We're still fucking on 8% to go down. And like you said, Ian, above us is Villa, who are 7 points clear of that now. Yeah. So, that was a big win for them, even if they didn't necessarily perform that well. In the game, I think Watkins had a couple of big chances that missed, but down from us is us, then Leicester, Wolves.
Well, I think that's it.
West Ham.
Leicester and Wolves are doing okay at the minute, but then you get down to West Ham, Leeds.
Well, West Ham getting battered by Brighton 4-0. Like after they did, West Ham did that to Forest, the previous game, 1-4-0. And I think that's also partly for what a lot of Palace fans, the reason they're hurting is because Brighton are doing phenomenally well. And they've got an FA Cup quarter-final against Grimsby, so they're basically going to Wembley as well. So it's just kind of
Giant killers Grimsby, don't... beating the Titans of Southampton. Don't rule them out.
Making them both see regular size. So... yeah, that doesn't help. But yeah, West Ham luckily keep conspiring to shoot themselves in the foot. 1 week they're going back to Europe, or they're going to win the Europa Conference League. The next they're singing, "You're getting sacked in the morning" to David Moyes. I guess it is just fortunate there's enough teams that are just fucking... Like I said, it's so funny. We've been so bad. We haven't won in, I think it's 11 games in all competitions since beating Bournemouth. And we're still 12th. We started 12th. We're still fucking 12th. How are we 12th? What the fuck are you all doing?
Well, that's the thing. The Premier League likes to market itself as the best league in the world. But, I mean, there are sort of 8 teams that if you told me they would go down at the end of the season, or 3 of those 8 would go down, I wouldn't be surprised.
To be honest, I think it's about 15 this year.
Yeah, but at the same time, those teams can all take points off Man City, Arsenal. So I know what you're saying, but
yeah, the main reason I think it's so bad this year is because of teams like Chelsea and Liverpool, that have given up so many points to those teams. Right, that's the only reason why we've got towards the top. We've got a Fulham and a Brentford and Brighton. But sorry, to say the only reason is very dismissive, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
they perform well and they deserve to be there, and I think that's probably why it's most frustrating. But they're clubs with a certain type of model. Look how many years Fulham have had to work at it to get a first year of success. Previously they were sustained in the Premier League for a very long time before they became a yo-yo club, kind of like Norwich have now. Brighton and Brentford are cut from the same cloth. Is Matthew Bentham, who was the Brentford owner, used to work with Tony Bloom, who's the Brighton owner, right? And they made their money together as statistical modelling and all that kind of stuff. Brighton, they pumped 300 million owner loan in. That will probably fix some things and have a big stadium. Whereas at the same time as that, Palace were looking like they were going to go out of existence. So everything's kind of to in and fro in of gradual progression. But I think there's, Palace need to sort their shit out. Leicester need to sort their shit out of what's going on. Wolves, I think
go in the right direction.
Well, yes, but I do think. I mean, maybe Everton take this award, but I think pound for pound, from the time they've come up, they've probably overspent the most on transfers for what they've achieved. Every year you hear about Wolves signing players for 30, 40, 50 million.
Yeah.
Or getting in these incredible loan players, and they're still sat there on their third manager of the season, I think, maybe, who's not exactly playing inspiring football, and they managed to beat Tottenham, who need Antonio Conte back, I guess, so that it has some sort of impact to shout at them while they have a good run.
Manager of the month, Antonio Conte.
What? Really?
So he's been nominated as.
He's not been there.
February. Yeah, exactly.
Well, wasn't it the only game he was on the touchline for in February they lost?
They lost, yeah.
Yeah. And he's been nominated for manager of the month.
Yeah.
It feels like when it's a kid's birthday, so he gets to be captain. You know what I mean? Oh, he's in hospital. Let's do something to make him feel better.
Sure.
Manager in a month.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's football chat.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to mention? Southampton won. Player called Alcaraz scored, so that led to loads of prison puns. I can only assume that's upcoming for the quiz. But before we get to that, let's talk about FPL.
Oh, okay.
Let's give Ian his minute in the sun. I will be starting my timer because you somehow have kept Salah and are actually having an adequate week. So do you want to tell the good listener, because we're not got that many, how many points you scored, what you've done?
Oh, right, okay. Yes, so I'm on 51 currently. Obviously, as we record, Mitrovic still to play. Salah was a weird one because I got rid of him a few weeks ago, and then I can't remember why I got him back in. Oh, it was because KDB was doing shit and I got rid of him. Yeah.
Worked out.
Yeah, it did sort of work out. I captained Haaland, as a lot of people did, and no one else really performed. I had White's goal off the
bench.
Him coming off the bench, yeah. Kepa's clean sheet. But other than that, I didn't really have a lot. But Salah saved me in a week where everyone else did shit. A lot of wild cards were thrown around. I didn't really understand that myself. But a lot of people, well, I mean, I know why, because I guess the doubles later on seem a lot less now. But
blinded by the doubles.
Yeah, but I've had a strategy in mind, and it wasn't enough to throw me off and want a wild card. So I kept Salah by default. Is basically what I'm saying. So yeah, got a bit lucky, but I mean,
all right, I think that's a minute.
Yeah, okay, yeah, fine. Hasn't saved a terrible season. I'm out. Yeah.
Oh, he still kept going.
Oh, come on.
Look, if you get an FPL pod every week where you get to...
Christ knows why. 2.5 million in the world. This is the worst season ever. Just, oh, Jesus.
Paid for content, Miles Offside Pod.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/Miles Offside Pod. If you would like bad advice like that. Adam's above both of us, so maybe he should do that one as well.
Yeah.
I sold Salah this week, so
shit,
don't listen to me.
You're shit.
Silly boy. Top 10 of the league, which, Ian, I've closed it now.
No way.
I remembered.
You found the login. Yep. You closed.
I found the login, I found the button, I logged into like 3 different accounts, I couldn't find it, I reset 2 passwords, I was like, what the fuck is going on? Oh, it was on the first one I looked at, I just didn't look properly. In 10th place, Baby Shota, Gabriel Penalosa, 1635, My Little Tony, Sam Danby, Red Arrow again, sorry Sam, 1645, Pad Fall in 8th, Fluffy Nutkins, Jibril Ibrahim in 7th, Vinley, question mark is his team name. In 6th, Rubberdini Rapids, Toby Ackland. Big red arrow this week for Toby Ackland, down from 1st to 5th.
Yikes.
1667 points, a 32-point week, but
Someone
there's
didn't
still
have
some
Salah.
to go. Gerald Griffith, 74-point week. Maybe let me just click on it. Any points hits? 76 points as we play right now. We're very well good. He's played his bench boost.
Oh,
interesting.
Cheeky little sausage.
Matoma with Raya and me in play. However, he did have Rico Lewis and Nico Williams. So,
worst bench boost ever.
Awful. Pick a better team. Swap Nil Pandey is in third, 66 points this week, 1672 in second, which is the main thing here. Michelle Marlborough, Miles United. Go on, Shell. Only 1 point off first place. Kieran Hartnett changed name, and he is 34k in der Welt.
Good Lord.
Very, very good stuff. All sorts
Tight
of
at the top.
nonsenses are happening with doubles, singles, blanks, all manner of game weeks.
Which we go through in great detail on our Patreon, don't we, Joe?
Well, we go through.
Great.
All right, we go through it in detail.
Sure. You do a lot of the heavy lifting there, I will say.
That's not true, Chuck. You've got a spreadsheet, and you like to portray yourself as some sort of maverick, fly-by-night, whatever. You've got a spreadsheet. You've done the groundwork.
I type names. I do. Oh, I did a fixture planner. I sent that to everyone. Everyone got a free fixture planner. Whether they updated it or not, who knows? But I'm not doing upkeep or maintenance on that. That's it. I haven't done the Predictor League in ages. I haven't updated that.
Oh, yeah, we'll do that next week.
Oh, thanks for making me commit to it now.
I'll do that next week.
Quiz.
Oh, it's a quiz. Oh, I pressed the button. It didn't work. Oh, my iPad's frozen. There we go.
You had to speak it into life.
Tight ship here.
That's how it is, yeah.
Right.
Here he goes again with puns. Are they going to be shit this week? Will he do better?
Let's just get that out of the way now. Yes, they will be.
They will be. Well, could they be worse? Could they be worse?
Okay.
I had to cross 2 out because I thought they were too bad. So
Oh God!
Wow.
Oh God!
but I got there in the end. So it's topical again because content.
Good.
Excellent.
The F1 was back this weekend.
Yes.
That was great. I probably watched
It
more
wasn't.
Formula One.
It was really boring, but
But it was back. It was there, and that's all we can ask for. So this is a Formula One themed quiz.
Okay.
when you say
Question number
Formula
1.
One themed, do you mean the puns are Formula One themed?
Yes.
Good.
Oh no, it's not about F1. That would be a bit.
Pivot into an F1 podcast. Yeah.
No. Yes, it is Formula One themed. In the puns are the questions are still about football. Don't worry. Okay, so question number 1 is about Steve McLaren.
Easy.
It's so easy. I thought of that one,
Softball
and that's
one
where
in.
I went from.
It's a good start. It's fine. It's
Okay.
Route 1, but fine.
Yeah, Steve McLaren, obviously assistant manager at Man United.
Indeed.
What was his last permanent managerial job as head coach?
Do we mean in football or
In football, yes.
running
Not
a
in
Burger
Formula
King,
One.
Burger King or something?
Is he stacking shelves at Tesco's?
He was doing. Hey, come on! I was going to say Waitrose at the weekends.
Guys, do you think Steve McLaren is high class enough for Waitrose?
Don't know. I think he's Tesco's and occasionally goes to M&S.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair.
Oh,
Anyway,
sorry,
what
his
was-
last job.
His last job, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, he's managed so many teams.
God. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, isn't he? He's one of those journeymen. Great.
Shit.
Shit.
Question 2.
How do you spell FC20?
Question 2. Oriole Alfa Romeo.
Yeah.
You'll have to help me out, Chuck.
Alfa
'cause-
Alfa Romeo.
Oh, I see. Right. Yes.
There we go. So obviously he was a stalwart in the Southampton midfield for quite some time. Previously played for Chelsea. Before that, he left Southampton in the summer transfer window in 2022. Who does he play for now?
Oh.
Fucking hell.
Can we have a country clue?
Yeah, that might help.
It's in Europe.
Country.
Honestly.
Country.
Spain.
You don't know the country, do you?
No, I did. I just didn't know if I wanted to make a joke, but I decided not to.
Wow. Okay.
You've got to be careful saying the E word around Ian because you know he didn't vote for it.
In both referendums.
This time it's personal.
Question 3. Aston Martin Dubravka.
Okay.
Good, yeah. He doesn't. Chuck doesn't like the multi-part.
I wondered if he was going Aston Martin Villa or not, and I didn't know how I felt about that. But Aston Martin Dubravka, it was a bit of like a left turn just at the end that, it brought me back.
Patience, my friend, that will come.
Aston Martin Dubravka.
So Martin Dubravka, obviously there was a big furore about how he couldn't play for Newcastle in the League Cup final, and that's because he made 2 appearances for Manchester United in the League Cup this season. Who were they against?
Oh boy. I know that neither team played any decent teams on their whole run-in.
Question 4. Aston Villa.
Yep, okay. Yeah.
Ian, Haas are an
there's a team
American
called-
F1 team. It's good if you know about Formula 1.
Cool.
Yeah. I know about Formula 1 and would contest that claim.
Oh, that was quite proud of that one.
Aston Villa.
Aston Villa? Is that any better?
Do the question.
So this is about Aston Villa. What is their record transfer fee, and which player is it for?
Paid, I'm guessing.
Yes, paid.
Yeah.
Question 5. Ferrario Ferdinand.
You got that, but not Talapian right. Interesting.
Yeah, go on.
What was the calendar year of his last Premier League start?
Calendar year gets a mensch.
Oh, he gets another one.
Oh, lovely.
Point for club?
As in club that he played for?
Yeah.
I mean,
His last appearance.
No.
Point for club.
No. No point. No point for club. Question 6. Now, I realise, if you don't know Formula 1, this might be a stretch. Zhou Guan Yu is a Formula 1 driver. The question is about Mark Hughes. Laughter.
okay.
2 of these were crossed out because they weren't good enough.
No, I haven't gotten to the crossed out one yet.
If there isn't a Rico Lewis Hamilton, then to stretch this one this far.
There is now a Rico Lewis Hamilton.
Right, go on. I'm just saying.
So, in 2022, the calendar year, Mark Hughes was appointed as Bradford City manager. The question is, what was his previous job, and what year was he sacked? So which club was he managing previously, before Bradford City, and what year was he sacked?
I struggle to remember his post-Man City career.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. I remember someone he managed for a while, actually. Yeah, okay. And what year was he sacked, was it?
Yes.
Shit. Okay.
Adam,
Hello.
is Chris Gunter Steiner in here?
Oh, fuck, you're going to make me Google another question, aren't you? No, it's not.
Okay.
I thought it would be too niche, you know.
Too niche!
Michael Schumacher-Lely?
Oh, Chuck!
That is good.
That's lovely stuff.
This is going to make the next one feel real bad. So, question 7. I assume you're done with the... You know Mark Hughes' career like the back of your hand. Esteban Oconsa. Esteban Ocon is a current Formula 1 driver. The question is about Esri Konsa.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Which club did Aston Villa sign him from? Which club did Aston Villa sign Esri Konsa from?
Just hear Chuck in the background. How do you spell don't know?
French club. French club, German club. Which would be my answer?
Okay, next question. Question 8. Max Verstappenenka.
Okay.
Penenka. So we all know legendary Czech player Antonin Penenka. Sort of more
not
known.
Personally.
Well, no, obviously not. That'd be a bit weird. But what a time to bring up that anecdote. What event did did the legendary Czech player debut his impudent penalty technique?
Impudent. Great word.
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
I'm wondering how specific you need it. So, okay.
I've got down. I'll give you the tournament.
Cool,
Okay.
because I've got a decade. Does that help?
What?
If you have a decade and a tournament, I'll give.
No, you won't. That's ridiculous.
Final question. Question 9. Because you know, all good quizzes have 9 questions. It's about Rico Lewis Hamilton.
Are you doing this on the fly?
I definitely didn't just look at his Wikipedia page.
Oh, God.
What is his current shirt number?
I mean, it's got to be high.
I don't know the second digit.
Oh, you know the first. That's better than me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Let's go through them.
You're going to wind him up, Adam, because he's definitely written 10 on his page.
I know exactly.
Are you fucking shitting me? I've written 10 in the margin. I just assumed.
Oh, next week there'll be
In this
11.
economy.
Keep you guessing.
In this
The cost of living crisis, cost of quizzing crisis.
God.
Question 1.
Someone actually had that as a team name the other day in the pub I was in. I threw up in my mouth.
cost of quizzing crisis.
Yeah.
Okay. Question 1. What was Steve McLaren's last managerial job?
I mean, this is wrong, but I said Derby County.
I said Derby.
Oh, you're both correct.
Hey, Ian! What a
Excellent.
lovely
Yes,
occasion!
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh,
Don't say that.
have a little cuddle about that when we see each other.
Topless
With no
colour.
pants.
Naturally.
I'm
Question
quite
2.
impressed. Question 2.
So are we, did you hear?
Which club does Oriol Romeu play for?
Valencia.
I put Atletico.
It's Girona Girona.
Okay.
in Spain,
Thanks.
the country.
Yeah.
Question 3. Who were the 2 clubs that Martin Dubravka played against in his brief loan spell at Manchester United?
I just said 2 teams out of nowhere, Bristol City and Doncaster Rovers.
I
Incorrect.
didn't even write anyone down.
Come on, Ian.
Oh, okay.
Right, point to
Aldershot
me.
and Dagenham and Redbridge.
I'm tempted to give Jack a point just because he tried. No, it was Aston Villa and Burnley.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Question.
He deserves that medal, doesn't he?
He really earned it.
awkward coach ride home.
Yeah, parading his medal round.
He gets his own open bus stop parade through
should do,
Newcastle
through
just for
Newcastle.
himself
Yeah.
in a Man United shirt. Question 4. What was the record transfer fee spent by Aston Villa?
I don't know, but I put 34 million and I put Emi Buendia.
Oh, you motherfucker. Just because I think you're...
You think I'm right? We haven't had the answers yet.
I think you're better than me. I put Watkins 30 million.
You're both sort of right. It is 30 million, but the fee is for Buendia.
Point each.
Oh, okay.
Or
Well,
no points. I don't know. Either way, it's all the
Who
same.
cares?
Isn't it?
I'd definitely give you a point, Chuck.
Yeah, I think the essence of the question was who was it? So I
yeah.
think, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'll take it.
Yeah, I think that's
It's not
right.
like you to lie down so easily, mate. You feeling
No,
all
but I
right?
think that's right. It was more about the person than the
Oh,
the
you just
fee.
want this to be over, right? Okay, fair enough.
No,
Why do you think he didn't answer the last question?
couldn't even be asked.
Question 5. What was the calendar year of Rio
I love the way
Ferdinand's
calendar
last...
year is organically...
I like it. I like it now. What was the calendar year of Rio Ferdinand's last Premier League start?
Well, point for club, QPR.
There's no point for club.
Okay, point for club. And I said... I was between 2. I said 2014.
I put 2014.
It was 2015.
Oh, okay. I was between 13 and 14. I didn't think he was that late. So at least I got QPR, so that's a point.
No points for QPR.
So that's no points. Well done, Chuck. It was against Tottenham Hotspur in a 2-1 defeat. Question 6. Previously to his
Previously on Mark
previously
Hughes.
on the life of Mark Hughes. prior to being appointed manager of Bradford City, what was Mark Hughes's previous job, and what year was he sacked?
Southampton 2016.
Oh, I've gone Stoke City 2017.
It's Southampton 2018.
What happens?
I'm going to give you a point, Chuck.
Yay!
Because you got Southampton right, but you didn't get the year.
Oh, the second you said Stoke, I thought that was after.
Do you remember it was the time at Southampton where he saved them from relegation? They gave him a 3-year contract for no apparent reason, and then was sacked after like 4 matches at the start of next season.
Yeah, that feels on brand. And then Pochettino came in?
No, then Hasenhüttl.
Oh, yeah, cool. Damn, time.
God,
2018. Sorry, yeah. Oh, yeah, he was post-Poch. Oh, post-Poch.
Post-Poch era.
Anyway.
What a fall from grace.
Question 7.
Question 7 is about Esri Concert. Just the name depresses you.
Just a
French club.
Which club did he sign for Aston Villa from?
Toulouse.
Oh, I've gone Spurs. I thought he might have been like a young player. At Spurs.
Chuck, I don't know why you got it in your head that it was a French or a Spanish club. It was Brentford.
It was French and German, thank you.
Oh, French and German.
Well, either way, Brentford. Okay. Oh dear.
Brentford.
Question 8. Which event was the Panenka penalty technique debuted on the world stage?
Well, you said on the world stage, so I mean, I don't know. I put World Cup first. I don't know if that's an acceptable answer.
It's acceptable, but it's incorrect.
Oh, okay, excellent. So, not acceptable.
Ian?
Oh, well, I put in the 70s, so I'll pick a tournament.
That's not an event.
Yeah, I know. So I'm going to pick a tournament for the 70s. I'm going to do it on the fly. So let's. I like the fact that you went World Cup, so I'll go Euros.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
I'll work
just
backwards.
Googling it.
88, 80. So I'll go Euro 72.
It was in the UEFA European Championships final or finals in 1976.
Oh, fuck's sake! That's the sound of a pad being thrown down in annoyance. What?
Ian,
what?
0 years from the Summer of Love.
Lovely. I'm happy again now.
Final question. What is Rico Lewis's shirt number?
Who cares?
I'm sure he does.
80.
Oh, that is high. I've gone 56.
Oh, Chuck, it's 82.
Oh, thank God, I was between 80 and 81, so that hurts less.
What, 80 and a half?
Yeah, I did put the 0.5. I thought he was doing like an Adi Akinbaye and he wanted the number 9, so he did like a what was he did 5
Maybe
plus
he is.
4.
He's just bad at maths.
Maybe, yeah.
Could
He isn't like 12.
Has Chuck won?
Has anyone really won? I got 3.
Oh, I got 1.
Yes, he has.
I like Adam being quizmaster, but we all know it means nothing really. So football's occurring. Should we do like a live update? Is that
why not? I'm just giving up now. So.
What are the scores? Brentford is winning 1-0.
Who scored?
Just give me a
Ethan
second.
Pinnock.
Oh, that's the defender that everyone else got apart from me in FPL, so that's good. Right, well, football's happening now. It's always going. Football, it never stops. We're coming up to game week 27. Bournemouth, Liverpool, Everton, Brentford, Leeds, Brighton, Leicester, Chelsea, Spurs, Forest, Palace, Man City. What a ruiner. Fulham, Arsenal, Man United, Southampton, West Ham, Villa, Newcastle, Wolves, and then we have midweeks Brighton Palace and Southampton Brentford. Go just do something else with your life. That's more like a self-affirmation for myself. That's how I get myself out of bed. Do something different with your life. Fuck my life. Say goodbye, Adam.
Goodbye.
Say goodbye, Ian Stimson.
Bye.
And goodbye to all of our Patreon producers whose names I literally can't remember. I don't know. Mark, Andy, Nate, Tom, Jeff, Sam. Bye. Miles Offside is an awful production.
It's barely produced.